So in this video we're going to rank the levels within each science, the ontological levels within each science, and demarcate their domain. So first let's start by biology. Gene and DNA are smaller than a cell. A cell is smaller than a tissue, so tissue is a gathering of cells. An organ is bigger than a tissue. In other words, an organ is a gathering of different types of tissue, perhaps. And a system is bigger than an organ. For example, respiratory system, immune system. These are a gathering of organs, different organs functioning together. And different kinds of systems create an individual organism. So an individual person is made of different biological systems. Individuals together create a population. Populations together, when they interact, create a community. Communities, when they interact with the environment, they create an ecosystem. Ecosystems of the same type are called biome. And the whole nature on the earth is called biosphere, as opposed to like atmosphere or hydrosphere or lithosphere. So moving one level above to the level of geology. In this model, the smallest component of geology is assumed to be a particle or a dust particle. Bigger than that might be a crystal. Bigger than crystal might be mineral. Bigger than mineral can be a fragment. Bigger than fragment can be a rock. So rocks together can create a geological structure. And bigger than individual geological structures are landforms like mountains, valleys, etc. Landforms together create a region. Regions together are a layer of the earth. So earth itself has different parts or spheres, like atmosphere, which is about gas, the oxygen and this kind of thing. Hydrosphere, which is about the water. Lithosphere, which is about the rock and soil. And the biosphere, which is about the nature, biological nature that we already alluded to. And bigger than the sphere is the earth itself. The levels within astronomy. So the smallest level in astronomy is elements. Bigger than element is part. Bigger than part can be called a meteorite, maybe. Bigger than meteorite is an asteroid. Bigger than asteroid, usually bigger than asteroid, is a satellite, by which a moon is a kind of satellite. The round objects that revolve around planets. Our satellite, the satellite of the Earth, is called moon. But for example, Jupiter has many satellites, like many moons like us. So bigger than moon is usually a planet. Some planets are solid while others are made of gas. The first four are solid and the others are made of gas. Bigger than planet are stars usually, and bigger than stars are systems, star systems like our solar system. Bigger than systems are galaxies like Milky Way galaxy. Bigger than galaxies are superclusters, and the superclusters together all as a whole is called usually universe, or there can be multiplicity of universes, but multiverse is usually defined at maybe a higher level. So within astronomy we just talk about this convenient or observable entities. So moving one level above, we enter the level of chemistry. The smallest level in chemistry is the quantum field, then quarks, then subatoms like protons, neutrons, and electrons. Bigger than subatoms are atoms. Bigger than atoms are molecules, some atoms together. Bigger than molecule is an individual substance. So substances can have material classes like metals, polymers, and ceramics. Bigger than material classes are states of matter like plasma, gas, liquid, solid. Bigger than states of matter are a chemical system which might interact with its environment. Bigger than a chemical system is the general reaction, chemical reaction and change is the biggest thing that you can extract from the essence of chemistry. So moving one level above, we enter physics. The smallest uh, maybe component of time is moment. So the smallest component of space is distance. Perhaps bigger than distance is electric current. So electric current might create temperature. Bigger than a more general level than temperature might be pressure. More general than pressure might be work. More general than work might be force. So these forces create mass. Bigger than mass might be energy. Energy is spread into space. Space is bigger than energy. And time, all space, whether it's finite or infinite, all of a space depends on passing of time. So temporal reasoning is more basic than spatial reasoning, and hierarchical reasoning, which will be discussed later, is even more basic than temporal reasoning. So moving one level above, we enter math. A point is the smallest component of math. So points together can have relations together like operators. These relations create numbers like points on a timeline. Numbers together, when generalized, can be considered a variable. For example, variable x can be replaced by different numbers. Variables together create formulas. Formulas together create equations, which create a linear thinking, like one side of equation and the other side are on a line. So bigger than equation is line. Lines together create an angle. When you attach two lines together, they create an angle. Angles together create a shape, one-dimensional shape or surface. Sorry, two-dimensional surface. And bigger than 2 dimension is 3 dimensional, which is volume, and bigger than volume is possibility. So the essence of mathematics is about possibility, whether these numbers or geometrical shapes can show existence or not. So entering to the level of ontology, which is the most basic in the which is the most basic foundation of natural sciences. So the most negative or the smallest thing is non-existence. It's actually nothing. Then something better than non-existence, something more real than non-existence, is finitude. More real than finitude is potential. More existent than potential is chaos. More existent than chaos is depletion. Less basic or more something more real than depletion is elimination, which assumes something to be eliminated. And then an individual being. More real than individual is design. More real than design is provision. So provision so design assumes a provision of resources in order to design out of them. More real than provision is order. There has to be an order in order for there to be provision. More real than order is actuality. More real than actuality is infinity, and more real than infinity is existence. So going to the right side of the model, all the soft sciences, we start by sociology. You can see behavior is the smallest, then gesture, impression, and so on to the level of society. Language, a habit. Then a habit creates a single component of voice, which is phoneme. Phonemes together create a morpheme. Morphemes together create word. Words together create a clause or a phrase. Phrases together create sentences, and so on till language. Cultures start by meme. Memes together create a sign. Signs together create a symbol, and so on till culture. Psychology starts by qualia. Qualias together create a sensation, and so on till the spirit or the whole psyche. So cognition starts by an idea. Ideas create a schema, and so on till the mind itself. Logic starts by a concept. Concepts together create a factor. Factors together create a type or a kind. Different kinds of things together, when they are related, they create reason. Reasons together create rules. Rules together create a proposition, which was like the linear type in math. So propositions, one proposition, two proposition together create a premise. premises together create an argument, arguments together create a form, forms together create a domain, and domains together create meaning. So meaning is the essence of logic. Epistemology, the smallest level for epistemology is falsehood. It's the most, it's the worst level. Then uncertainty, then distrust, non-belief, dishonesty, till truth. As you can see, there is a symmetry between these.